Hey, if you're interested in the mobile launch for Once Human, this video might be for you, both for people that are brand new to the game, but also if you're a veteran. So personally, I have over 2,500 hours in the game, so today I'm going to watch the teaser trailer that they just put out and kind of go over all of the things, for new players as to kind of what they're showing versus what is actually in the game. And then for veteran players, I'm also going to kind of give you my take as to why the mobile version may or may not be good for the game. So let's dive into the trailer. I will be pausing quite often just because I'm gonna have to kind of elaborate on things, but here we go. So they're giving off the really kind of dark theme here. Very Cthulhian monsters and all that stuff. And something to understand, if you're a new player, it is a post-apocalyptic survival game with all kinds of different elements. It's multiplayer shooter, has all these kind of different aspects, which we're about to see and get into. But for the first at least 20 hours of the game, it actually does feel spooky like this. I'm just going to kind of rewind and show it again. So it definitely felt very spooky, and I was creeping around and felt very weak. But as time goes on, you'll start to become the meta that you are. So in the game, you're called a meta, which is basically a meta-human. And, well, there she goes. She even calls you a meta. But essentially, you become superpowered. You get your build, your mods, all kinds of things up to snuff, and then you're able to absolutely annihilate your enemies, which feels great. The progression is really good on that. I do really miss this old exploration where I just started in the game and things were really creepy. There's these things called sirens that come out of TVs, and as they come out of the TV, you can hear in the distance, listen real carefully, and you'll hear it say, "Run." It's perfect.
For you. Craving some thrills?
So she's talking about the exploration part there. There is a giant map for most of the scenarios, and for the alternate scenario, Way of Winter, there's another giant map, so there's lots of cool things you can explore, lots of Easter eggs and everything on the map as well. This is a pretty good combat showcase, showing a lot of varied weapons, the different effects, a lot of different cosmetics as well. Oh, why are they going to show the bus in this? I mean, okay, so one of the biggest things when you first start the game, you're going to be looking for this bus because you think it's a big bad enemy, but I'm going to both break your heart and make you happy. He's nice. He just wants to give you a ride from one place to another.
How's this?
So, building is probably one of the biggest things in Once Human. They have so many different things of furniture, walls, all the decorations. You can build to your heart's desire. They've made a music play, what do you call it? Like a bar. Club here, but I've seen people make boxing rings, I've seen people make bars, I've seen people make, even in the first season, I made a sushi bar. So there's just so much that you can do if you're a creative person. The game is just fantastic for that, and the mobile version allows you to do all that very, very easily, which I'll show you in a little showcase later with the mobile UI.
Fine. How about design it in your way?
You can also tame all of these animals, which is a really big thing. Now, deviations are essentially a type of creature that you can capture. They're, part of the lore. The world has gone all weird, and essentially these guys, you can capture them and they'll help you out. So these guys here are helping with gathering. These ones here do your farm. The Shefosaurus here cooks for you. Now, one thing, I don't know what she's all angry about, but they don't really show any of the combat deviations, which is a really big thing. There is, I think, 13 or so combat deviations, which essentially you can call them out in battle and they'll help you, whether it's inflicting debuffs, giving you buffs, healing, attacking. Like, there's so many of them, and there's just so much customization you can get from
Don't
that.
worry. Because in Once Human, friendship has no limits.
Now, as of this recording too, that thing that they just showed there, that's not just for flavor. They're actually adding in drifting with the vehicles, so you're gonna be able to build race tracks and like do drift races and stuff. That'll be really fun. And the social aspects, they're like, it's the big thing for Once Human. I've been playing for over 2,500 hours, and the reason for that is that I have people that I've played with. And every time that I've stopped playing with a group because they've either, you know, gone on to other games or had real life dedications, I always find a new group and keep going. So I highly recommend finding a community that's going to be, you know, fun to play with, so that you can do your PvE wars, the Prime Wars and stuff like that. Or if you're into PvP, you can always find me or any of the other different PvP groups and, you know, shoot at each other in Eternal End. You can shoot at each other in the scenarios, but there's plenty to do. So there's the April 23rd mobile launch reveal. So this was the video that actually put the date on it, so it's coming soon. So with that being said, I'm just going to let this play in the background again. I'm probably going to lower the volume and just kind of speak my mind here. So as somebody that's been playing for over 2,500 hours, the game is what you make of it. So it's got a whole lot of content to it, and the whole idea is scenarios, and you're able to repeat the scenarios. So it's almost like seasonal content. They do have a permanent server function that has been added in now. So you can continue to play on the same server the entire time if you want and just hang out with your friends. But ultimately, the mobile version is only good for the game. I know there's a lot of people out there that are, you know, upset that they spent so much time on the mobile version rather than doing tons and tons of new content, but you know, it is what it is. There's more than 30 million registrations for this mobile version. It's a worldwide economy, right? So there's a ton of people that play mobile, which basically just means that we're going to get a ton of new players, whether they're in our region or not. This is a good thing. So the developers are going to have another flow of income. They're going to have a lot more voices to help, you know, push the game in directions that we as the player base want. And we're gonna have more people to play with. So just ultimately, this is good in every way, shape, or form. And you, as somebody that's already been playing or somebody that's brand new, you now have the option to play on mobile. So maybe you want to be able to do your building and stuff from, you know, your couch rather than your PC, or while you're on the go, maybe to and from work, you want to be able to just check in on your deviants, you know, doing your farm, anything like that. Or even if you want to play the PvE, I'm going to show in a little bit of a showcase at the very end the actual mobile UI and how I felt with it in game. And ultimately, another thing to think about is that now that the mobile version is launching, that basically means that their dev team is now going to go back to being fully focused on content and things coming out. So our timeline should accelerate and we should start getting a lot more stuff, and, you know, bugs being fixed, exploits and all that getting removed. So I'm super optimistic about the mobile launch basically revitalizing the game, but also getting us to the point of having all kinds of new content coming. And before we end, I just want to actually show off the mobile UI in-game. I will say that I am technically playing this with a mouse, but I can still at least give you kind of a look into how this would play on a mobile device. Like any mobile game, I would say, because it is a shooter, you're probably going to get more use out of larger screen devices, but you could still get away with just about anything. So on the left hand side of the screen is essentially how your left thumbstick would work if you were using a controller. So you can move this around, and if you full drag, you'll be able to go into an auto run. Now on the right hand side of the screen is mostly your actions, but you also have shooting on the left. So if you're already in like a full sprint, you can use the left, or you can use, you know, your right thumb to aim and then the left to shoot, or you can also just click on the shooting button on the right hand side and just kind of drag around so that it also aims at the same time. That's probably how I would prefer to do it. Now you also have on the right hand side is your actions, like your crouching, your rolling, and your jumping. So you would move around with the left, and then you'd be able to do your jumping, your rolling, and you could put it into sprinting so that you could jump more effectively, etc. Now on the top right here you have your weapon swap. So I've only got 2 weapons equipped right now. Another option you can do is this little thing on the right hand side to actually choose which weapon you're doing. And then you're able to, you know, swing away with the attack buttons. Now, additionally, on top of that, we do have the Q snap. So normally on PC it would be the Q button. Now, instead of having a hotbar of 6 items, the mobile UI has the 2 quick use item buttons, and then there's a little arrow above them that whenever you click it, it will also show all of your additional items in your inventory that you can then equip and then use in those slots. So right now I've just made a ton of activators and set them up that way. Now you might be wondering, how do you drive? Well, you can just summon your vehicle just like you can in the normal game. You click the button and then click on the check mark, and then we can move over to it and hit the drive button. There's also like your repair button and all that. We're just going to turn off this radio before I end up getting a copyright strike. And you can see on the UI here, so you have your get off button, you have your brake, and forward, back, left, and right turning. So when you're using a mouse and keyboard like I am to just show this off, it's not going to work very well. I'm also going to get attacked by a wolf, so we're just gonna beat him up real quick. So as you can see, still fairly fluid with all that. Now this will probably be a lot more fluid whenever you're using 2 hands, but you can essentially drive and turn with the forward, like basically using left thumb on the left side, right thumb on the right side, obviously. And you have your horn. There's the auto drive, which actually probably makes this a lot easier on keyboard, like mouse and keyboard here. And then there's your light. You can turn that on and off. So all of your menus and everything are all on like the left and the top right. So you've got all like your journey and everything like that. You have your building mode here, which is surprisingly intuitive. So you have your different menus. This is kind of like a recent, just like in the PC version. So then you have each of your different building tabs. So essentially the way it works is you click it, you put it down, and you can keep going. It's fairly, like, it's really not much different than the PC version, in the sense of like how easy it is to build. Like, it's very easy on both versions. And you can see whenever you switch menus here, we have all the different types of devices and everything in here. Now, one thing that is very different, and I really hope they add into the PC version, if we kill an enemy here and it actually drops something, on the PC version, you got to go and click that up. But you see on the mobile version, as long as you're within a certain radius, it just auto picks it up. Like, I just run over it and then it's good to go. And that's like a huge quality of life thing. Then for like your smaller items, when we go in here, we'll be kind of just auto picking them up. It's similar to like holding F if you were on the PC version, where it just kind of picks up all the random stuff in the area. So basically, it just grabs it, so you don't even have to worry about hitting a button or anything. So you just kind of auto gather the smaller items when you're running through camps. So that's my quick preview of the mobile UI. I do think it's definitely very functional, but it's got some extra kind of quality of life things that the PC version even doesn't have, at least yet, as of this recording. And additionally, like, the graphics and engine and everything all seem to be working pretty well, considering, generally speaking, I'm pretty sure the game was initially built on a mobile platform, so I don't think they're really having much conversion happening, so it should run fairly smooth on them. So hopefully this footage helps you kind of see what the mobile UI is going to look like and how it's going to play. I think it's going to be pretty fluent. I don't know if it'll be so fluent as to be like really worth fighting in like PvP, since you know you need a lot of pinpoint accuracy and you got a lot of dodging, a lot of things that we do in PvP that are a lot higher level. But I could see, you know, doing your farming, your base building, really just about everything. So PvP is probably the only part that I wouldn't play on mobile, whereas everything else in the game I could definitely see myself playing it. So super excited for the mobile launch, and I hope if you're a new player, this is giving you some insight on kind of what you're able to get into, and if you're a veteran player, I hope this gives you some insights on why, you know, the mobile version in every way, shape, or form is just good for the game. So I hope to see all of you on the mobile launch. If this video helped you, there's going to be another one that YouTube recommends on the left, and my entire playlist will be on the right-hand side.